When you take a look at the evolution of gaming, it's hard to pinpoint out which year was best for it. In an industry where there have been so many highs, it gets harder and harder to answer as time goes on. But still, this video is not trying to prove that a specific year was best, because it's definitely a deeper discussion than that. I'll just be presenting some years that I think stand out, but let me know in the comments if you think any of the years I've brought up is truly the best. If not, which year do you think was best for gaming? "1998 is widely approved as the best year in gaming history, for some solid reasons. Obviously, the standout is Ocarina of Time, a critically acclaimed masterpiece and seen as one of the best, if not the best game of all time, sitting at number 1 on the Metacritic score with a rating of 99. Not only was Ocarina of Time an astonishing game for its time, it definitely painted a whole canvas for the future of gaming, from things as simple as the Z-targeting system to a day and night cycle. Listen, I cannot go in depth about this enough, even if I wanted to, because if I did, this video would be like an hour long. And there are some more notable titles and franchise starters from 1998 that really deserve to be spoken about. Half-Life, StarCraft, Metal Gear Solid. We all know this one. I think it's a pretty much cultural classic. You play a Solid Snake, and no, he's not a rat or an actual snake, that's his fucking name. Resident Evil 2, which needs no introduction on this channel. Go watch this video, by the way. One's name which you might have heard of. The third installment just so happened to win the Game of the Year for 2023. I'm talking about Baldur's Gate. And let's not forget about Fallout 2. When you look at 1998, it's hard to not sit and think this was a good year, because all these games I've mentioned went on to become super iconic and even start franchises that later became iconic. Now, just so you understand the magnitude of this year, and I know I'll be saying this for a lot of years, but I mean, what else would you expect me to say? They're not good. I don't even think they need some sort of an introduction. Metroid Prime 2, Half-Life 2, and people are still waiting for the third one. World of Warcraft, I mean, after 20 years still manages to pull an impressive amount of players in, and probably one of the best MMORPGs at the moment still. San Andreas is like one of the most iconic things ever. The same goes for Halo 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, Killzone. Now, just a moment, this was probably like my favorite first-person shooter on the PS2, highly underrated. Far Cry, which I've discussed about in an earlier video, is an ambitious project that is for the most part good. Prince of Persia: Warrior Within, going in a much different direction and maturity than the previous, but still great. I mean, for me, this looked like the coolest thing ever, until I turned 7. There is a magnitude of different genres of gaming where this year excels at. BioShock, in my opinion, is one of a kind. I mean, I fucking love BioShock. Everything from its art design to atmosphere to its plot is just outstanding, and I wish I could just replay the whole of it again someday. But you can't forget about other games that just have that aura, you know, I'm sorry. That goes for everything in the orange box, like Portal, one of the most innovative and fun platform games ever made, which would be further improved in the second installment. Assassin's Creed, which came up with some new gameplay mechanics that we haven't really seen much like it. I mean, the list keeps going on, with games like Uncharted, Drake's Fortune, or how a wise man once said, Drake's unfortunate turn of events. That goes both ways for him and BBL Drizzy. Why did I think about that? "2011 was a year that hit a high note in gaming with some absolute classics. Skyrim is a game that needs little introduction. Big open world sandbox filled with a bunch of stuff to do and get distracted by, like a cave or a fucking dragon. And oh my god, one of my favorite things about Skyrim is probably the soundtrack. This has to be one of the best video game scores ever made. Dark Souls brought the idea of gameplay before anything. This beautiful dark twisted fantasy with amazing world building and an even better game design, such an intricate lore that will make you go down a rabbit hole trying to piece up the story. Dark Souls is one of the most important games of this generation. It paved the way for the industry until FromSoft's efforts and progression have finally been seen with Elden Ring. Portal 2 expanded on its predecessor's brilliance with some more mind-bending puzzles, and who can forget about Batman Arkham City? It's still celebrated as one of the best superhero games ever made. I think it's probably Arkham Knight, but I'm not gonna keep on going with that. Uncharted 3, Drake's deception, like a wise man once said, Drake's decision to kill 1 billion men. The list keeps going and going and going and going. I think you get the idea. Now, we're pretty much into the contemporary era. We saw a lot of great games and franchises rise back up. Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite games of all time. The reshaped formula of the franchise is truly amazing. I just love the idea that the game took of not giving you so many instructions like other AAA games. The game just telling you after getting out of the starting cave, okay, now go. There's a door. Is the best thing about Breath of the Wild. Having this vast open world with so many beautiful places and loads of things to do. But I want to talk about Resident Evil 7 too. Resident Evil 7 was one of the most important games of 2017, and most definitely for Capcom itself. It brought Resident Evil back to the spotlight, but as much as I love Resident Evil 7, I've already talked about this in this video. Usually in this time and age, Ubisoft doesn't release any good games. Assassin's Creed Origins was decent, but not really a highlight in my opinion. But For Honor, I kinda liked it. I'm not saying it's a perfect game or anything, but the combat is so awesome and I wish they would have kept making some more games like this. PUBG, Fortnite, Cuphead, Destiny 2. I don't know how to pronounce this name, I've never been able to. Horizon Zero Dawn, Super Mario Odyssey. Come on, do I really need to keep selling you this point? 2018 might honestly be the year that is featured here because of personal preference. Red Dead Redemption 2 is the game that got me any kind of attention on this platform by now, and I'll forever be thankful for its release. While I think the game is amazing and it deserved Game of the Year for 2018, this game is not perfect, neither a best of all time. Now, I don't want to piss off anyone because this is still my favorite game of all time. I do have my issues with it, but the bop to flop ratio is in the very high positive range. The cowboy wilderness immersion this game presents is something that for me hasn't been topped yet by any game yet, with personally some of the best characters and stories I've ever witnessed in fiction. While I'm not a fan of the formula of God of War being similar to The Last of Us, which I think is one of the reasons for a lot of Hollywood interactable movies, I got included because of its appeal from the fans. I mean, I love Kratos and the acting and the characters and the graphics and the settings. They're all so beautifully done, and that makes up for a lot of walking and talking.
Well, we had history, I guess you could.
Like a lot of walking and talking.
Do you hear that?
No.
But let's not forget about other gems from 2018. Marvel's Spider-Man, which I made a video on, this one. But I do not really suggest you should watch it because you might just fall asleep. The game is spectacular, and I hope you played it. If you haven't played it, you just go play it. And in today's video,
this is fine.
That game just nailed all of the intricate things that it needs to be a perfect Spidey game. It's not an outstanding game in my opinion, but it's the perfect Spider-Man game. The web slinging, the combat, the costumes for God's sakes, the setting, the atmosphere, everything was really ripped out of some Sam Raimi, what was his name? Yeah, some like Sam Raimi shit. It just felt so fucking good. Monster Hunter World, which is really an outstanding game in my opinion. You know, it brought hunting giant beasts to a whole new audience. Celeste offered a tough but rewarding platforming experience with a deep emotional core. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, you know, it's always fun. I mean, who doesn't like a Super Smash Bros. Game? I mean, now you have every fighter imaginable into one frantic, joyous brawl. Detroit Become Human, Hitman 2, the remake of Shadow of the Colossus, Forza Horizon 4, all great games that came out in 2018. Each of these games contributed to what made 2018 such a stellar year in gaming. So, do you agree with any of the years I brought up? If you don't, that's fine as well. Everybody's got their own opinions, but which year do you think was best for gaming? Thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you next time.